On LAVERITATV News, two university students sentenced to 15 years imprisonment for kidnapping. Lagos secures over 120 convictions of sex offenders in 1 year. Kaduna government reshuffles cabinet, education, youth get new leadership. 23-year-old man sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for fraud. 3 dies, 1 hospitalized after consuming poisoned food in Katsina. I am Kende Mohammed.
LAVERITATV is a special TV. LAVERITATV is the best of all. Educating you, entertaining you, presenting to you reality shows, accurate news. We speak the truth always.
Now the news in details. Two university students sentenced to 15 years imprisonment for kidnapping. An Ekiti State High Court, Ado-Ekiti Division, on Thursday sentenced 2 graduates to 30 years imprisonment, made up of 15 years each, for kidnapping a student at the Federal University Oye-Ekiti. The defendants, Ojo Babajide, 31, and Olajide Nathaniel, 35, who were fresh graduates when they committed the offences in 2022, are to spend 10 years each in prison for kidnapping and 5 years each for conspiracy. They were arraigned in court on July 19, 2022 for conspiracy and kidnapping. The charge read that the defendants, now convicts, on March 23, 2022 at Oye-Ekiti did conspire to kidnap one Atana Emmanuel. The offences contravene Section 280 and 279 of the Criminal Law of Ekiti State, 2021, it added. In his statement to the police, the victim, who said he was a student and as well as saloon operator, said, "I was in the shop around 7 p.m. The defendant moved towards me and ordered me into a waiting car. I initially refused, but I was forced to do their bidding. I was first taken to an unknown destination in Oye-Ekiti, and I later found myself in an hotel along Ikere Road in Ado-Ekiti. They made me pay for lodging in the hotel room through mobile transfer. They asked me to call my relatives to pay a ransom of 1 million for my release. Through phone calls, I was able to raise 101,000. I sustained serious bruises all over my body before I was later released," he said. The prosecutor, Kunle Shino Adeyemo, called one witness and tendered the victims and defendants' statements and bond to release as exhibits, while the defendants spoke through their lawyer, Akinola Abon, who pleaded with the court to temper justice with mercy, as the defendants were fresh graduates preparing to go for their National Youth Service Corps program. They called 3 witnesses. In his judgment, Justice Adeniyi Familoni, who found the defendant guilty, said the incidents of kidnapping in our communities appeared unabated despite genuine and concerted efforts being made to curb the vice. He said the defendant willingly but unwisely chose to join the vice train, therefore cannot escape the consequences. In this vein, they deserve more than a slap on the wrist as the penal sanction for their misdeed to serve as a deterrent to others. Lagos secures over 120 convictions of sex offenders in 1 year. No fewer than 120 individuals were convicted for various forms of sexual and gender-based violence in Lagos State between January and December 2024. The Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency has revealed. The agency disclosed on Thursday following its report that a staggering 900,279 domestic violence cases were recorded in the state within the same year. The report also highlighted that about 3,215 children were subjected to different forms of abuse during this period, with most of the perpetrators being relatives or individuals familiar to the victims. In response to the alarming figures, the DSVA said the state government was adopting a technology-driven and preventive approach to tackle the crisis. However, human rights advocates insisted that the government must do more to protect vulnerable groups and support survivors. Many activists also expressed concern that the real scale of abuse might be underreported as victims often hesitate to come forward due to stigma, fear, or lack of trust in the system. When asked about convictions in the period under review, the Executive Secretary of the DSVA, Titilola Vivo Adeniyi, confirmed that the state has made significant strides in prosecuting offenders. The last year, the Lagos state government has secured more than 120 convictions for sexual and gender-based violence, she said, adding that some of these convictions range from life imprisonment to 65 years jail term. Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has appointed a former Director General of the Energy Commission of Nigeria, Professor Abubakar Sani Sambo, as the new Commissioner for Education. Professor Sambo replaces Professor Muhammad Sani Bello, who had been redeployed to head the newly created Ministry of Information. Governor Obasani expects Professor Abubakar Sambo to reinvigorate the Education Ministry to deliver on his administration's agenda, which is aimed at improving access to education, building and rehabilitating infrastructure, enhancing the capacity of teachers, harnessing the capacity of ICT, prioritizing girl-child education, and strengthening security in schools, the statement said. His appointment is expected to boost the state's educational sector, given his impressive track record in academia and administration. 23-year-old man sentenced to 2 years imprisonment for fraud. A 23-year-old internet fraudster Adebisi Olalekan from Ekiti State has been sentenced to 2 years in prison without the option of a fine by Justice Abimbola Awogboro of the Federal High Court in Ilori. The conviction followed charges brought by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) for cybercrime offences including impersonation and cheating. Olalekan's fraudulent activities came to light after the Nigeria Security and Civil Service Corps reported the online scams to the EFCC. Between August and December 2024, they impersonated various foreign individuals, including a man named Joshua Campbell Novak, using fake Gmail and TextPlus accounts to deceive victims. Olalekan pleaded guilty to both charges. During the trial, the EFCC presented evidence that Olalekan used to purchase a luxury car in October 2024. Investigations also revealed over 124 million in his bank account derived from similar fraudulent activities. The court ordered the forfeiture of all his illicit earnings, including the 124 million, a white Mercedes-Benz ML350, valued approximately 30 million, and an iPhone 14 Pro Max used in committing the crimes. Justice Awogboro sentenced Olalekan to 1 year in prison for each charge, to be served concurrently. The judge emphasized the seriousness of cybercrime and the importance of deterring such offences. 3 die, 1 hospitalized after consuming poisoned food in Katsina. 4 people, including 3 children, have died from suspected food poisoning in the Magama Jibia area of Katsina State. The disease victims include Usaina Ayuba, Ahmed Ayuba, and Nana Ayuba. Stated that they were rushed to Jibia General Hospital after consuming spaghetti. They, however, passed away while receiving treatment at the hospital. The security expert further stated that a 12-year-old girl, Afsat Ayuba, was undergoing treatment and recuperating under medical care. He added that the perpetrator of the act were arrested alongside 2 other suspects. You can follow us on all our social media handles. On X is LAVERITATV Ltd, on YouTube is LAVERITATV Ltd, on Instagram is LAVERITATV Ltd, and TikTok MOFW Dating. And you can also follow us on our Facebook handle Adekunle Komolafe Foundation TV. That's all on today's news. I am Kehinde Mohammed.
LAVERITATV is a special TV. LAVERITATV is the best of all, educating you, entertaining you, presenting to you reality shows, accurate news. We speak the